in there in your picture, now 36 years old. Mcgrath, of course, also won the US Outdoor Motocross Championship in 1995. And number 27, Nick Way, he finished on the rostrum and said he was hoping to find the sort of rhythm tonight that took him to victory in the 17th Barcelona Supercross ahead of Benjamin Quasi and Heath Voss just a couple of weeks ago. He's riding bike number 27.
Jeremy Mcgrath, la légende du Supercross au monde, qui est ce soir.
La légende du Supercross, and a former winner here, of course, Jeremy Mcgrath. I don't know whether he thinks he can do it again at the age of 36. But 15,000 people packed into Geneva, into the Palexpo at Geneva International Airport here. We'll be hoping to see something special from Jeremy. This then the first semi-final. 6 riders to go through. And then 3 riders from the desperate last chance repechage. Unlucky if you have to start in the second row. 8 minutes plus 1 lap, which will add up to about 15 laps. And Mcgrath, always quick out of the gate, but this time Nick Way takes the whole shot on bike number 27. No, Mcgrath turns inside. The 36-year-old Californian, the remarkable Jeremy Mcgrath, already entertaining the crowd here. He finished well downfield in last night's final. He wants to improve on that. But right behind him is the dangerous figure of Benjamin Quasi, the 22-year-old Frenchman. Nick Way is there. So too is number 33, Cyril Coulon. And Coulon and Quasi, of course, each won a semi-final. They were in separate semi-finals last night. Quasi won the first one cleanly, Coulon the second. But this time, Nick Way is looking a little more impressive. Justin Brayton, number 114, is there in 5th place. Benjamin Quasi at the moment shading Jeremy Mcgrath, but Quasi was faster than anybody across that rhythm section last night. This time Mcgrath was able to match him. Julien Bill, the homeboy, the former Swiss motocross champion, is there in 6th place. But at the moment, Jeremy Mcgrath has the advantage over Benjamin Quasi. Quasi looking a little untidy and loose. Yet another of the new generation of extremely still, quiet, young French motocrossers and supercrossers. He, though, specialising in the indoors, as Jeremy Mcgrath always did. He only won that one outdoor national motocross championship in the States. He really loved the furore of being indoors. And remember the pinnacle of his career, really, 1996, when he won 14 out of 15 main events in the American Stadium Series. An absolutely remarkable and probably unmatchable performance. Nick Way, now on KTM, is still there. Quasi once again, he keeps trying that tight turn into the rhythm section to get the better of Mcgrath. But I tell you what, the 36-year-old kiddie from California is holding off Benjamin Quasi. The main event winner last night. Mcgrath, a winner here in 2003, ahead of Deglia Sposti and Philippe Dupasquier, the homeboy. Dupasquier was always brilliant here. Mcgrath, this is the way that he rode at his best. So neat, tidy and centred on the motorcycle. Never used a lot of body language on the bike. Just neat, tidy. And it looks as if the Americans are getting to grips with this track, because number 140, Justin Brayton, had actually had the cheek to show up there momentarily in front of Cyril Coulon. And Mcgrath really looking excellent. Remember, he also won for Pro Circuit Kawasaki, who now run, of course, with Monster Energy drink, which you see on McGrath's helmet. He won them the 125cc Western Region Supercross Championship, well, back as a kid, really, in 1991 and 1992, and then won his first 250cc championship in 1993. And that's how he took no prisoners. He said he always fed off making the opposition feel bad. Because he's very much a part-time racer these days. Does quite a lot of supermoto as well as some supercross. He's run his own Jeremy McGrath Invitational as a promoter. Now is Quasi going to keep trying to turn inside him? He is. And this is a really impressive performance from Jeremy Showtime McGrath. It's like the McGrath of old. Oh, but here comes Quasi. He got the better of him then. Just a little bit of a hiccup from McGrath, and the Frenchman needed no second invitation to move through. So last night's victor in the final here at the Geneva Expo, Benjamin Quasi on lap 8 moves through into the lead ahead of Jeremy McGrath and Nick Way. So Honda leads KTM. I beg your pardon, number 33, Cyril Coulon has come through now into third place for Yamaha, ahead of the orange KTM of Nick Way. Quasi is going to take some stopping again tonight, looking to become the second Frenchman ever to win here and only the third European in 22 years to take victory in Geneva overall on the 2 nights and become King of Geneva. So Quasi leads from McGrath, Cyril Coulon, Nick Way. Nick Way, only 14th in the 2007 250cc AMA Supercross Series, of course, after being injured after 5 rounds, but he'd already been on the podium in that time. Nick Way, now 27, he's disputed 115 main events, you know, during the course of his Supercross career. He's always been just kind of off the factory radar, really. Here comes Coulon. Coulon closing the gap now. There's Way, number 27. Number 114, Justin Brayton. And there is 525, Marvin Musquang, who's moved into second place in the championship. On the Bud Racing Kawasaki. Quasi, Honda. He's now got 150 points after his victory last night. Cyril Coulon closing the gap. For 114. Justin Brayton holding up well, and we just got a glimpse also in the background of number 74, Maxime Jean, if you like, Maxime Jean. This is Benjamin Quasi on lap 12. He's got away now from McGrath. McGrath probably beginning to feel the pace. He's being closed down by Cyril Coulon. Coulon, the 24-year-old from Les Plessis Belleville, and you know, he's got a history of being a fairly slow starter, Cyril Coulon. Here he comes, he's moved through into second place now. His career has almost been hindered by being a slow starter. It's a reputation he's always had. Nonetheless, he finished third in the French Supercross and Outdoor Motocross Series of 2006. So Coulon moves through into second place. Ahead of him, number 979, Benjamin Quasi. Already lapped is number 6, Simon Homans from Canada. There's McGrath. There's Nick Way. And it's obvious that number 33, Cyril Coulon, as soon as I started extolling his virtues, except for his bad starting, has had some sort of mishap. Here he goes. He gets alongside McGrath. He turns tight. Oh, he catches Jeremy's rear wheel, just touches it, and it's enough for him to go down. although Mcgrath thankfully stays on board. So Kwasi now leads handsomely from Mcgrath, hangs on to that second place, third place Nick Way. But Cyril Coulon has remounted still. We're very much in the qualifying places. Although judging by the way he was hurrying to shoulder aside Marvin Musquang, he was by no means certain of that. The checkered flag goes out, the fireworks erupt, and Benjamin Kwasi crosses the line. He takes the win. Mcgrath with the knack-knack. His trademark. Nick Way crosses the line. Cyril Coulon goes across the line, having paid the penalty for trying a little too hard to get the better of a legend there. Must be such a thrill for these young Frenchmen to have the chance of overtaking Jeremy Mcgrath. Benjamin Kwasi, who won the... There he goes, he's won that semi. Kwasi, Mcgrath, Brayton, Nick Way, Cyril Coulon and Marvin Musquang go through, with Billy Laninovich just outside, and Jean-Sébastien Roy, as he did last night, the Canadian multi-champion, having to go through by the last chance. Welcome back after the shortest of commercial breaks for the second semi-final here in Geneva. Incidentally, the time practice sessions to sort out grid positions before we came on air tonight. Benjamin Kwasi, he became the first guy in the first open session to go below 35 seconds a lap within a scalding 34.255. And he also did a 34.3 to prove that was no fluke. Justin Brayton was second quickest, Jason Thomas third, Jeremy Mcgrath fourth. And then on the second session, would you believe, Brandon Jesserman also went underneath the magic 35 with his Suzuki 34.72. But he only did that as a one-off lap. He couldn't bet a 35.8 otherwise. And he was ahead of Cyril Coulon, Mike Brown and Eric Sorby. So Brown, Subiras, Jason Thomas, Christophe Martin, Nicolas Delapierre, Julien Macardier, Hugo Deco, Brandon Jesserman. Three Americans in that initial start list for the second semi. Mike Brown only lost a rostrum place right at the death in that race last night. He was only 2 laps off scoring third, and then he just lost out in the closing stages to Nick Way and Brandon Jesserman. Unlucky. But Browner, of course, he's another of the veterans, 35 years old. I wonder if he and Mcgrath still thought they'd be around trying to kick the kids' butts at this stage in their careers. Probably not.
Not with your bike. Yeah, actually, I retired a few years ago, and I'm glad to be back here at Geneva. I had some good times here, and now moved on and team manager for KTM back in the US.
Ok, il nous dit qu'il est vraiment content de revenir ici à Genève. Il a eu beaucoup de très bons souvenirs. Maintenant, il est team manager pour...
Yes, Mike Brown, he was lying third place after 15 laps last night. And then Nick nipped him on... I beg your pardon, Cyril Coulon pinched third place from him, and then Nick Way pinched fourth place from him, and then Brandon Jesserman got fourth place on the final lap, with Mike Brown shoved back to fifth. So from first to second to third, still third with 2 laps left, and Browner ended up back in fifth place. So the man who clinched the British MX2 Motocross Championship at a dramatic final round for CAS Honda, the British CAS Honda squad, will be hoping for better luck tonight. 17 laps though, it was a long, hard final round here. Oh, and we had some real creeping there from Brown, it was. Brown in that distinctive yellow outfit. He was creeping on that gate. He'd just given himself about 12 or 18 inches to creep on, and did it work. He got a flyer. Ahead of number 121, Brandon Jesserman. So the amazing man from Piney Creek, Tennessee, hurtles out of the traps. And he's ahead of that man, Brandon Jesseman, with Christophe Martin, another very, very quick starter for Husqvarna in third place. In fact, Christophe Martin was right in the frame on bike number 48 till he nosedived out across the whoops last night. Number 31, Jason Thomas, a consistent player in these tight indoor events. And number 917, Eric Sorby, originally from Marseille, now resident in the USA. Here's Jesseman. Brandon Jesseman looking very keen to find a way past. The East Region Supercross 125 champion of 2003, chasing down the current British SX2, the British MX2 champion Mike Brown. Jesseman riding from Makita Suzuki. Sorby now fourth ahead of Delapierre after his quick start, and Jason Thomas. There's Martin. There, number 917 is the short, stocky Eric Sorby. And there, number 532 is the unlucky Ricky Renner, who got taken down very early in last night's final. Eric Sorby now 28 years old. Currently resides in Corona, California. Rode for a long while for, first initially for Pro Circuit Kawasaki and then for MotorWorld.com, Racing.com Suzuki. Spent 3 years with the Pro Circuit Kawasaki team. French 250 Supercross champion in 2001 and placed third in his first ever US Supercross 125 main event in Houston in 2002. Playing to the crowd. Eric Sorby, 6th overall in the 2003 125 West Coast Series, 10th in the 125 East Coast Series of 2004. So he's really made his presence felt in the USA. And then he moved on to the National Arena Cross Championships, tighter indoor tracks like this, which is why he's so at home here. Mike Brown involved in a really hectic battle in the first round of the Future West ACU British Supercross Championships in Sheffield at the beginning of November, just losing out to Jeff Alessi. I tell you what, those green eyes of his still burn with the enthusiasm of this game. Right behind him, 25-year-old Brandon Jesseman. And these two have got a big advantage now over Eric Sorby. There is Sorby all alone in third place. And then Christophe Martin still, and Jason Thomas having a huge moment on bike number 31. The 28-year-old from Florida who trains with Ricky Carmichael, only just rescued that. Mike Brown looking comfortable at the front. He doesn't want to take too much out of himself in this semi, but neither of these guys look as if they're working hard, almost as if Jesseman's just shepherding the Honda along. Getting their rhythm together. Mind you, Mike Brown, notoriously hard man to pass. Sorby in third place. Christophe Martin, impressive ride from Martin. There's Jason Thomas closing him down now. That's a nice shot of them coming into land. Brown already doing a bit of lapping. Those are 3 majestic triples as he sweeps across the rhythm section. And Brandon Jesseman lining up a quadruple really at that point. Sorby, here again, Jason Thomas thinking about launching an attack on the Husqvarna. And then Delapierre is still hanging on there. Delapierre has to hold on to that 6th place if he wants to a direct transfer to the main event. And Ricky Renner once again having a disappointing time. Jesseman goes for the thinks about the pass, but Mike Brown, he's not the sort of guy you'd like to block pass in a situation like that. He was victorious, of course, at the Odyssey Arena in Belfast 12 months ago. Oh, he's gone down and into the bales. Mike Brown, everything was going so well for the veteran American. Oh, and just at that point, as he lost it there, tell you what, you needed to be looking where you were, where he was coming from. Oh, Mike. Ouch, yeah, that looked painful. And he eventually had to let the Honda go. Oh. He'd been riding so smoothly, so comfortably in control. But Browner goes down, painfully it looked like as well. It looked like a real bit of a ball clanger, that. He falls off, and Brandon Jesseman now is in control for Makita Suzuki on bike number 121. Second place for Eric Sorby, a distant second on Kawasaki. Third place for Husqvarna's Christophe Martin.
Mike Brown a pu repartir. Il est encore qualifié. Donc si il tient la cadence en espérant que ça...
So the battle's still going on. There's Brown. He's back bravely, back in action. Is he back in action far enough up? I think he might be. I think he still might be in a position to qualify. Yes, he is, bless him. He's back on board just behind Jason Thomas. So if the pain's not too great, he should be able to hang on in there. There's Delapierre behind him. So he's still in fifth place. I think Delapierre has the possibility of being the final. Jesseman, Sorby, Jason Thomas, Christophe Martin, Mike Brown. Jesseman has the advantage at the front.
Le voici, Brendan Jesseman, numéro 121. La deuxième place,
there's Eric Sorby. He's all alone. 266 has been lapped. That's Jeremy Richaud on his Yamaha.
La troisième place, mon cher Hubert, n'est pas encore attribuée. À mon avis, ça va être chaud contre les trois garçons.
So 12 laps complete. Jesseman, Sorby and Jason Thomas. I was going to say they look pretty much qualified, but after what's happened to Mike Brown, you just can never be sure. It only takes a momentary lapse, a momentary mistake, and this cruel sport of motocross can bite you right back. Sorby, originally out of Marseille, was the French cadet champion back in 1995 at the age of 16, and then French junior champion in 1997. So Mike Brown at the moment looks like he is going to qualify. Eric Sorby looks like he's really enjoying this track. But the battle's going on downfield because the first 6 directly qualify to the final. And if you're not in that top 6, you have to go to the repechage and just knock a bit more wind out of your sails. Just give yourself that bit more to do. Brandon Jesseman from New Brighton, Pennsylvania, he looks really comfortable around here. Could it be that the man who was quickest in the second open time training group earlier this evening, can put one over Benjamin Quasi? He didn't have a great ride last night, of course. Brandon Jesseman did end up in 4th place. He nicked that 4th place off Mike Brown on the very final lap of the main race.
On a eu Mcgrath tout à l'heure. Il est heureux, il est content et on le comprend pour cette deuxième place. Voilà, 917, deuxième, Eric Sorby.
Eric Sorby. En troisième position,
Brandon Jesseman.
Quatrième, Christophe Martin.
Wins the second semi-final. Number 31, Jason Thomas, qualifies comfortably in 3rd place. And in between them, Frenchman Eric Sorby. Number 3, Mike Brown. Oh, he'd be feeling that, surely. Number 532, Ricky Renner. Not enjoying the sort of form we'd expect. Jesseman, Sorby, Thomas, Christophe Martin, Alexandre Rui finishes 5th place, Cedric Subira in 6th, and Delapierre, Mike Brown ends up back in 8th place. So I've got a feeling he's suffering a little bit. So Mike Brown, he seemed to remount in a position where he could qualify, but slipped back out of the qualifying places. And in 5th place, Alexandre Rui, who was the French Open Supercross champion of 2006, he qualifies. And Brandon Jesseman with quite the most radical James Dobb haircut that I've ever seen.
et Brendan Jesman.
He mounts the rostrum alongside Eric Sorby.
Brendan, a quick word with you. Un petit peu rapide avec toi. You got more lucky than Mike did in the whoops. What's your feeling for the super final?
Yeah, Mike Brown got a good start. He's keeping me honest out there in front, and you know, lucky I made a mistake. To the whoops are getting tough now, getting a little rutted up and squared away. But you know, hopefully, he can get out there and do the same in the main.
Il est très content et en fait, bien sûr, il est désolé pour Mike qui n'a pas été très chanceux.
So there you are, Brendan Jesman looking pretty super cool, despite the steam.
Thank you, and good
luck. And sounding quite sorry for Mike Brown from that mistake. He said, and he did say that they're really digging out a bit and getting quite gnarly, those whoops. Eric Sorby enjoying himself in mid-air. Those are great, those slow-mo turning shots. And that was when it went wrong for Brownie. Oh, that did look an uncomfortable get-off. Oh, I'm glad he's already got a couple of lovely little kicks. So Mike Brown goes down, and Eric Sorby then benefits and finishes in second place. I do wish these guys could smile a bit more. Oh, thank you, Eric. Right on cue. Now, excuse me if I wasn't looking at the wrong moment just then. Was Mike Brown's name not down there? I thought that was a fairly heavy fall. I just wonder if we've seen the last of Browner for tonight. That would be a great shame after his brave whole shot and race in the final last night. There's Ricky Renner, the kid brother of the freestyler Ronnie Renner, and he must be really disappointed with how things have gone for him so far. Can he crack it this time in the repêchage race? Ricky Renner brought down on the second lap, only completed a lap of the final last night. So he needs an improvement in his fortunes right here. Renner right on the inside. He needs a good jump out of the gate from there. Oh, he doesn't get it. He's absolutely dead. Was that him who got absolutely locked in behind the gate or even seemed to stall? So Renner, I think, has got the worst possible start. Julian Bill's in there, number 6 in there is Simon Homans of Canada. Only if Homans can manage to hold on to that sort of form off a fast start. He's already showboating, which would indicate that that's his main concern. But Mikael Muskang, the younger of the Muskang brothers at the front. Homans second. Maron is third on number 973. There's Julian Bill in 4th place. That's not good enough. He needs to improve. And what about Ricky Renner? Where is Renner? Oh, he's way back. What a shame. But at the front, Mikael Muskang leads the way. Simon Homans from Canada is second. Number 973, Francois Girard is third. Sorry, Jean-Baptiste Maron. We've got 2 973s down on our start list. Simon Homans is looking pretty good, the Canadian. Julian Bill, Christophe Charlier, and number 95, Dago. Allez, Julien, go! The commentator is urging the local boy on. Julian Bill, born in Geneva, lives in Geneva, number 29. But of course, his speciality tends to be outdoors. This is a fairly race, contesting the European Championship Series, of course, but he had a crash at the second round of that championship and was out with a thumb damage. He reckons he's restored to full fitness. He needs that fitness now in front of the home crowd. He's got 2 Yamahas and a Honda in front of him. And Simon Homans goes through into the lead. The Canadian takes the lead, bike number 6. Muskang is second. And Julian Bill, desperate to find a way through. Past Jean-Baptiste Maron. That was Simon Homans grabbing the advantage. One Yamaha pouncing on another. Homans is still there at the front, but all the action right behind them because Maron is still in 3rd place. And Julian Bill is about to lose out, which is not what the crowd wanted to see. They wanted to see him moving forward, not backwards. And here comes the unknown warrior, number 430, Christophe Charlier. Now Charlier, kid brother of Nicolas Charlier, he's been competing in the Freeman Junior Cup. Oh, and down has gone Simon Homans. Oh, the Canadian was doing so well, and he's crashed out. Oh, that looks painful. Oh, Simon Homans, who was leading this last chance repechage. What's happened to him? Oh, he's lost it on takeoff and gone down hard. Oh, that was an unusual accident. He kind of over-jumped and it just threw him off balance. That's all it took. So Maron is the surprise leader. Charlier, a surprise second. Julien Bill has muddled his way past Michael Muscan, the early leader, and he's gone through now ahead of the two early leaders. They've been shoved back to 4th and 5th places and out of the reckoning. So Julien Bill, in all that mayhem, has benefited with the 3rd place, the prospect of a 3rd place finish, which he needs, but he's got to hold off Michael Muscan, number 85. 973, Jean-Baptiste Maron of France still leads, being chased by Christophe Charlier. Number 345 looks anxiously over his shoulder. That's Loïc Lepine, ready to keep out of the way on his Kawasaki.
Dernier tour également pour Christophe Charlier, le 430. Et troisième, Julien Bill, donc lui aussi, Julien.
The battle for the lead. I think Christophe Charlier wants to win this, and Maron just having a moment there as he lost his right-hand foot peg.
C'est maintenant qu'ils ont besoin de vous. Allez, est-ce que Christophe Charlier va essayer dans ce dernier demi-tour d'aller chute?
Oh, and oh dear, Christophe Charlier's over-exuberance bites him back. He's got to try and hang on to that 3rd place. He has done. He's remounted. Can he find his rhythm quickly enough? There's a chance for Michael Muscan to get the better of him. We do not need to see a replay right now. We want to see what happens on the track. Oh, that was uncomfortable. He was trying hard. He was cutting in tight. Well, we do know that Maron has won the last chance repechage. He goes through. Did Christophe Charlier hang on? Julien Bill should have finished 2nd. The fireworks go off. The checkered flag is raised for Jean-Baptiste Maron.
Il s'est effectivement rassuré extrêmement rapidement, et on le comprend bien sûr, parce que une toute petite glissade de cette
and he's pleased with that.
On a vu les choses effectivement.
What fine old-fashioned 90s, 80s bright pink gloves and chest protector the boys got. So Maron, Julien Bill, Christophe Charlier hung on ahead of Michael Muscan. That was one heck of a recovery for from a nasty last lap spill. Those 3 go through. The grand final of the 22nd edition of the Geneva International Supercross here at the Palexpo in Geneva. For 2 years it absconded to Bâle, but that didn't last very long. We quickly came back to this magnificent facility, and look at this. We've got Mcgrath, Brown, Jean-Sébastien Roy, Cedric Soubirous, Nick Wade. The fact that Mike Brown is out there tells me what I suspected, that I actually thought he crossed the line in a qualifying position after he picked himself up out of the hay bale. So it's great to see Browner out there. Justin Brayton, Brandon Jesserman, Alexander Roy, Christophe Charlier after that brave performance in the last chance. Eric Sorby and the danger man, Benjamin Quasi. Now, Benjamin Quasi, the one man that these guys don't want to see jump out of that starting gate anywhere near a hole shot is Benjamin Quasi, because he is the solid leader of the Supercross Tour. And I think he's absolutely the danger man. We saw last night when he was on the rostrum that he's another of the breed that have followed in the footsteps of the legendary Jean-Michel Bayle, i.e. doesn't smile very much, doesn't give a great deal away, doesn't particularly seem to enjoy the victory when he gets it. I'm sure there's some quiet satisfaction, but we could do with it being a little more apparent. Remember Christophe Christophe Proussel when he won the 2006 MX2 World Championship on home territory at Ernay in France. Scarcely a glimmer of a smile on his thin lips. We want to see people enjoying themselves out here, and obviously having enjoyed it at the end of the race. Number 31, Jason Thomas. Number 917, Eric Sorby. Eric Ice Cream.
C'est la dernière, c'est leur dernière, c'est votre dernière. Alors est-ce que vous êtes prêts, Genève, ce soir?
Now for the guys starting from the second row, there's only 12 men on the front row of the grid, so 3 guys have to start from the second row. Billy Laninovic out there. Subaras, who lies 4th on 61 points in the championship. Quasi has 150, Musgang 88, Coulon 77, Subaras 61. Stefan Dumarty, who's absent, is on 60. Mikhail Musgang 50. Alexander Rui can improve, he's on 40.
C'est la finale du 22e Supercross de Genève.
So Billy Laninovic gets a reassuring pat on his back from his mechanic. We're ready to roll, com. 27, Nick Way. 48, Christophe Martin. 29, Julien Bill. 33, Cyril Coulon.
Et on tape dans les mains, c'est le dernier coup d'envoi de cette soirée. Les Français, les Américains, les Suisses, les Canadiens, ils sont tous là.
Preparing for that backward falling gate to drop. Oh, and absolutely neck and neck, except for the amazing Mcgrath. He comes out cleanly ahead. Nick Way's in there. And for once, Quasi, I was going to say, isn't in the top 3, but he very soon will be, because he's right there alongside Jason Thomas, number 31, and cuts inside the veteran Floridian through into 3rd place. So Quasi gets away dangerously well. Can Nick Way? I don't know whether Jeremy Mcgrath will have... Oh, it's not. It's Brandon Jesseman who's there in 2nd place, and Jesseman needs to hold on to that 2nd place. If Quasi gets through early, he'll be gone. Brandon Jesseman, 121, Makita Suzuki, 979. The Honda of Benjamin Quasi at the front, number 2, Jeremy Mcgrath. And I thought that Jesseman was trying to pull a pass on Mcgrath then, but Mcgrath held him off. Jesseman, oh, but Mcgrath turned tight, lost his rhythm a bit. Jesseman's at the front. Benjamin Quasi follows him through. Jeremy Mcgrath had one bad turn, one bad run through a rhythm section, and that allowed the younger men past. Now, can the former US East Coast 125cc Supercross champion Brandon Jesseman hold off the red-hot Benjamin Quasi, who is so close to already being crowned the French Supercross champion, Open Supercross champion of 2007? Mcgrath, Showtime Mcgrath, the 36-year-old veteran superstar, is there in 3rd place. Nick Way in 4th. No, Jason Thomas, Honda in 4th place. Brandon Jesseman finished 4th in the US Lights Series of 2007. So this is a quality performer that Benjamin Quasi is chasing. And it looks as if he can perform at the moment just about, that Quasi can echo just about everything that Jesseman's pulling off round here. Oh, and look at this, already big problems. Cyril Coulon and Eric Sorby are being lapped. So Coulon certainly isn't going to improve his position in the championship. He's on 77 points, Musgang on 88, and already he's been lapped by the warring duo at the front. Lap 4, here comes Quasi, making his move up the inside. Jesseman just closes him down. Mcgrath still there in 3rd place. This is more like it. We needed opposition from Benjamin Quasi. We've got it, and you know, Mcgrath is still right there with them. The 7-time AMA 250cc Supercross champion. The bark of the 4-stroke motorcycles here. Suzuki in yellow, Honda in red. This is more like it. What a terrific race. Jessamine knows how important it is to keep Kwasi behind him. Kwasi is fast through this rhythm section. But in this instant, Jessamine had the legs on him. This is a fast track, you know. There's very little in the way of... The turns tend to be right angles. There's very little in the way of actual hairpin bends. There's a lot of awkward rhythm sections. The track, of course, designed and built by Jean-Luc Fouché, a former top-notch supercrosser, French, one of the early generation of supercrossers himself in France. Brandon Jessamine trying to hold on to the lead from Kwasi. Look at Kwasi going for it, just hammering across the whoops, and already the lapping a disconsolate Cyril Coulon once again. Coulon third in the French MX and SX series of 2006. Looks like he's pulling out on his Yamaha. Benjamin Kwasi, champion-elect. In fact, he probably already is champion, isn't he? With the sort of points lead he's got at the moment, I don't think that anybody else is going to be able to get near him. So Benjamin Kwasi with just 2 rounds, there's 50 points left on the board after tonight. And at the moment, he has a lead of 62 points in the championship. Can someone work that out for me? That's Benjamin Kwasi, number 979, second in your picture. Chasing Brandon Jessamine from New Brighton, Pennsylvania. Fourth in the East Coast Light Supercross Series of 2007. Oh, and he glances over his shoulder. He knows that Kwasi's coming. Kwasi steers him out, and I felt that Jessamine had given himself away the moment he looked uncertain about Kwasi's approach then. As soon as he pulled out of that potential contest, oh, Mike Brown wouldn't have done that. Browner would have been in there hard. But that was a critical move at the halfway stage. Benjamin Kwasi, I feel, just might be able to get the better of Jessamine now. These are the guys who topped their respective time training sessions this afternoon.
Ouais, Benjamin Kwasi, la moto qui a ratatouillé en l'air juste derrière nous. On se pose des questions.
Fantastic performance by Kwasi, you know. He is some supercrosser. Look at that, setting himself up in mid-air perfectly, and already, after that breathtaking opening 8 laps, he's opening a gap on the early leader. So Brandon Jessamine in second place, Jeremy Mcgrath still there in third. Great ride by him, but already Kwasi pulling away.
Il veut les manger crus. Par contre, vous avez remarqué Hubert, Benjamin, une fois passé.
Number 85, Michael Musquin, just riding round. Is Cyril Coulon still out there?
Un peu de bagarre.
Oh no, that's number 10, Jean-Sébastien Moi, beg your pardon. The 5-time Canadian champion gets lapped, as the potential French champion really begins to open up a gap here.
Marvin qui vient d'aller chercher, eh bien, Brighton qui va être dans la route de Jason Thomas d'ici quelques instants. Oh, chute!
Alors chute de Nico et son gravité.
So Benjamin Kwasi here in Geneva leads for Honda.
Je vous le disais qu'il allait les manger crus, ces Américains. Il veut mettre.
Oh, and a problem for Nick Way. Oh, a slow-mo. What an unpleasant looking slow-mo. Oh, and there he is in reverse. So KTM's Nick Way does a most uncomfortable looking kind of, I don't know, groin stand over the bars of the KTM. And if he's not out of the race, he's certainly well back downfield after a bright start. So Nick Way, who was on the rostrum last night in third place behind Kwasi and Coulon, certainly won't be there tonight. Well, these guys, Nick Way, you know, he's been on the fringe of a really top factory ride for a long while, and he was 5th in the and 3 times on the rostrum last season. Jason Thomas, Marvin Musquin and Justin Brayton rounding out the top 6 at the moment, behind Kwasi, Jessamine and Mcgrath. 27, Nick Way on lap 12, restarts after glancing carefully over his shoulder, letting the leader through. I think does that mean he's going to pace himself against the leader? Here's Brandon Jessamine. Of course, Jessamine's been in this position before. He was pressing Mike Brown when Browner crashed through the bales in their semi-final.
Regardez-moi ça, c'est un pilote très tonique. Marvin Musquin, il bouge beaucoup.
Nick Way going for a bit of practice on the KTM.
Et sera-t-il capable de remonter le King?
And Quasi now, he's looking a little bit more relaxed. He knows that he's got an advantage now over Brandon Jessamine. So he just needs to hold this secure rhythm he's got. And another victory will be his. And he'll win. He'll win the overall. He'll be King of Geneva. He's been Prince of Geneva before. David Villemin was twice Prince of Geneva before he won the main event. Villemin won in 2005. He beat Mike Brown and Julian Vanni. In 2004, he beat Pascal Lure and Jean-Sébastien Roy. In 2002, his first major victory, he beat Tim Ferry. Yes, the same Tim Ferry who's still right at the top of the tree in the States. And Grant Langston, the newly crowned outdoor motocross champ in the States. This is Brandon Jessamine. He's there in second place. But David Villemin won 3 times after twice being Prince of Geneva. Well, number 979, Benjamin Quasi, he was Prince of Geneva in 2003. And it looks very likely now as if with a convincing double win he's going to become the King of Geneva in 2007. So impressed with the fact that Jeremy Mcgrath is, after that flying start, the 36-year-old, originally out of San Francisco, now out of Canyon Lake, California, is going to finish a really solid-looking third. There is number 121, Brandon Jessamine. I hope I was saying Prince of Geneva and not Prince of Percy. I hope you'll forgive me if I was mixing up my metaphors, mixing up my stadiums. Benjamin Quasi, Prince of Geneva, turned King of Geneva. And the likes of Jason Thomas and Justin Brayton not able to maintain the red-hot pace being set by this 22-year-old Frenchman who's already saluting the crowd here. He's getting carried away. He's getting the checkered flag. Benjamin Quasi takes victory here in Geneva and takes the overall. Brandon Jessamine takes second place and will be second overall after his 4th place last night. And Jeremy Mcgrath gets hailed almost as a winner, which he was, of course, just a few years back in 2003 as he crosses the line in 3rd place, showing a few of the youngsters the way home. Benjamin Quasi looks really chuffed with that. That is a great performance by him. And with only 50 points left on the table, he is the French Supercross champion. Well, the very international French Supercross champion of 2007. No one can catch him now. He's got 175 points. A lead of way over the 50 points left on the table in Grenoble and Lyon. Quasi, 17 laps. Jessamine second, Mcgrath third. Marvin Musqueanga comes through strongly ahead of Cedric Soubira, Alexander Rui, Mike Brown and Billy Laninovic. So things went very upside down, probably literally for Justin Brayton and Jason Thomas out there in Geneva. Billy Laninovic in 8th place, 1 lap down. Mike Brown, a very brave 7th, starting from the 2nd row, remember, after a Plua qualification following his crash through the bales in the semi-final. So we might get some hints and tips as to what went on as we have a look at the highlights. Mcgrath, a scalding start, but Jason Thomas was also well in there. So too Nick Way. We saw what happened to him. So too Eric Sorby and Cyril Coulon. Now Coulon and Sorby were lapped very, very early, so something went very pear-shaped for them at the beginning of the race. Tremendous battle raged at the front. But we wonder what was happening to some of the fancied runners behind. That was Jessamine pulling out because he knew what Benjamin Quasi was up to. And listen to the greeting for Jeremy Mcgrath as he mounts the rostrum in 3rd place. But it's Benjamin Quasi who takes victory on the 2nd night here.
Not to catch your breath, il avait peur parce que tout à l'heure il disait qu'il commençait un peu à ralentir.
Great win for Quasi. He is crowned French Supercross champion of 2007.
Yeah, thanks a lot. It was a little bit of a tall order to try and keep up with these two guys, but you know, all weekend long my starts kind of kept me in the race, and that race was no different. I was starting to tighten up at the end. It's a long race, and for an old guy like me, I was pretty happy about it.
Il est content, il dit, pour un vieux mec comme moi, je suis vraiment
Jeremy
content d'être à la
Mcgrath, he's
troisième
great,
place.
isn't he?
C'est lui la légende du Supercross.
Very much an Irishman, really, and very California, but a lot of Irish in that blood and those emerald green eyes as well. Jeremy Mcgrath still enjoying being serenaded as a top-line supercrosser, and as he said, there was no way he could keep up with those kids, but that was a pretty good performance for an old man. Brandon Jesserman may just be a little disappointed with that. I think he felt that he perhaps had the speed to hold on.
Tu as eu un bon week-end. You liked the podium in Geneva, right?
Yeah, it was a pretty good race. I mean, I got out to a good start. I got around Jeremy on the first or second lap, luckily, and you know, he came up and caught me in the middle of the race and just kind of pulled away from me. I kind of felt a little stupid, but I mean, he's riding really fast. I kind of tightened up a little bit, but well, it's the best I could do tonight.
Ok, alors il est vraiment content de sa
Well, that's a pretty
course.
honest appraisal from Brandon Jesserman. I tightened up a bit. It was best I could do tonight, but really, in effect, this Frenchman was just too fast for him. So Benjamin the Brush Quasi takes the top spot on the stadium and has already tied up the French International Supercross Championship Series, and it has been a brilliant series, 2 rounds before the end.
Vainqueur hier soir, vainqueur ce soir, Mr. Benjamin Quasi!
He's an unlikely looking athlete. There again, Mcgrath always has been, you know. Benjamin Quasi, he looks like your local postman, doesn't he? It's great to see him smiling. He was, perhaps he felt he'd only got half the job done last night. Now he looks well chuffed with things. Benjamin Quasi, the king of Geneva.
Eh bien, c'est pas une mince affaire.
Ouais, c'est génial. C'est vrai, gagner 200 à Genève avec un bon plateau.
How special a moment is this for you then, Benjamin? Monsieur Quasi?
Je suis content de moi, je progresse de week-end en week-end et j'espère progresser.
It was a really extraordinary moment, a very special moment to win here in Geneva.
Quand même que l'opposition, eh bien, on en a une représentation ici, était exceptionnelle. Tout le plateau, notamment d'Américains et de pilotes étrangers, ce qui montre une nouvelle fois la valeur de ce championnat du SX Tour.
Ouais, je pense que tout l'ensemble du championnat SX Tour a prouvé encore ce week-end qu'on était très rapide.
Yes, to be ahead of high-class American racers like Jesserman and Mcgrath. How does that feel?
Et là, on le reprouve ici à Genève, c'est magnifique.
Bien sûr, avec leur chef de file ce
Yeah,
soir.
yes, you're right. It's a very class field. It's a great honour to be on the top. My second international podium after Paris-Bercy, and here I am again at Geneva. Brandon Jesserman and Jeremy Mcgrath on the lower rungs of the rostrum beneath me, eh? Wow. Life must look good from up there for Benjamin Quasi.